Hey everybody, it's Alera. Welcome to my 2025 Mid Year WIP Parade. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new, thanks so much for coming in and checking it out. For existing subscribers, thank you so much for the support over these years. So I'm going to be splitting this up into two major sections. The first section is going to be WIPs that I have touched this year, and the rest is going to be WIPs that I have not touched this year. I got kind of a 50-50 on what folks wanted to see, so I figured I had to do the work for one set anyways. We'll just go ahead and make it two. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit it all into two separate videos. It might be multiples for each one, so bear with me. Throat is a little meh still. So, how this is going to work, if I have, for this section, if I've worked on it, obviously, the first ones, you will get, we don't need to have that in there. That's gonna bug me. There we go. You will get screenshots, very crappy screenshots from the end of the year WIP Parade last year. I'm going to have to create another spreadsheet for if I've worked on a piece and have taken a screenshot, so that I'm not, well, have I taken this screenshot already or whatnot? Because I'm really not thrilled with the quality of pictures that you're going to see for the befores, but it is what it is at this point. I will not do screenshots for the ones that I haven't touched. That one's going to be just get through it and just kind of show where we're for the folks that wanted to see it all. Okay, so let's get started. It's funny, I realized when I was going through getting all of those screenshots, I didn't show any of the Christmas ornaments, not really. Yeah. So anyways, I have 175 total WIPs. I've worked on 106 so far this year. I have started many. 75, I think. Something ridiculous. I don't remember if I forgot to actually write that part down. Hang on. Let me grab some stats for you and then we'll get started. So I've been using the cross stitch planer from Rainbow Sheets Studio on Etsy, and I really like it. I like what kind of information is sort of at my fingertips. It's not super user-friendly on a mobile device, but on the PC, it's fantastic. All right, so excuse me. Projects worked on this year, 108. Projects started this year, 59. And I have finished 5. 1, 2, 3. I thought I finished 6, but apparently it's 5. And yeah, now some of the stats and stuff are approximate because I didn't record fantastically well all year, but that's okay. Okay, and unfortunately I'm going to have to scroll to get to like cover photos and stuff on things that are in Pattern Keeper, because I just don't have the memory on my phone to be able to do all the screenshots for projects and be able to edit and get everything uploaded. So if I feel like it's taking a while, I will pause the video. Okay, first up is African Daisy. This is by Total Cross Stitch. She is on Etsy. This is 500 by 333 and contains 89 colors. Here's the cover photo. I've worked on this for 1,510 stitches this year. Here it is, right in front. It is now at a total, oh, what am I stitching this on? I'm stitching this on 28 count Monaco. I'm stitching this 1/1 full cross. I have both a center start and an upper left-hand corner start. because I didn't have it gridded, and then I did have it gridded, so I was tired of working in the middle. So let me give you a, that's where I started from. And that's what I had done at the beginning of the year. I think I might have worked a little bit on it before I decided I was totally over the middle. I don't, yeah, I think I just have the before shot of where the leaves were. And then I came up and started in the corner. Here we go. So I now have 3,122 out of 166,500 for 1.88%. I should probably also warn anybody who's new, there's going to be rattling. There's going to be zippers because there's too many projects to have everything open and not have the potential to lose a bunch of stuff. So Alright, next up is Afternoon Nap. This is a kit by Xuxiao. Super cute, super small. It is on 18 count white Aida. I am using the kit stuffs. I stitched on this for 177 stitches this year so far. And here we go. Hopefully you can see where I've added stuff now. I am now at 446 stitches out of approximately 11,340. There's a ton of fractionals. There's backstitch, so that's just a very loose estimate. So 4.11%. Top of the ears here. So I've got up here in the corner now filled in, and I'm just going to be kind of working in the diagonal. Excuse me. I'm really going to try. I just took some more cough medicine, so I'm really going to try not to cough my way through this. Okay. This one next is a piece that I charted, and is kind of, I'm test stitching it basically, or at least trying to get some idea of whether or not this is going to work. This is Alchemical Angel 2 by Jasmine. Artwork is by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. It's one of her public domain pieces now. And I need to work on my info cover page thing, because I have no idea how big she is or how many colors. But I love how the artwork looks. It's just a matter of did I get it to translate well? I have stitched this year so far 1,572 stitches. She's being stitched on 32 count even weave 1/1 full cross. And that's where I've gotten her to so far. The overall look of the piece is definitely different tones as far as that goes, but there are some wild colors in here so far. I now have 2,301 stitches out of 98,000 for 2.35%. And yeah. Apparently I stole somebody's magnet. It was on the front of the, but I don't know who that belongs to. All right. I should probably not, I'll just put it back there because I don't want the dog to get it. Yeah. All right. All right, next up is a new start. This is Amethyst by Heaven and Earth Designs. She is a piece by Chris Ortega. She's 450 by 628 and is regular colors. Right here. She only has 143 stitches in her so far. She's a very small, very, very small start. Some of the starts this year have been very small. There are 282,600 stitches, so I'm only at 0.5%. This is being stitched on 28 count, even weave, 1/1 full cross. I can't even find the... And I just started on, I think, what is that, 310? Pretty sure that's just 310 in the corner there. There's like this 2-stitch border all the way across, so I figured I'd just start a strand and go as long as it took me at that point, and then I'll just go back in and start working on the corner. So I may or may not go back and grid this thing. I have no idea. It really depends on my mood when I pull it out if I'm if I'm gonna grid it or not. But this is one that I was definitely looking forward to starting it. So even though it was tiny, I did not mind, because I was like, yes, it's at least started. Yep. Gotta try not to lose all my little pieces of this is what I'm stitching on notes. Okay. Another new start is Angel Jehuel. This is another piece by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is on a 28 count even weave. Artwork is by Babette Vandenberg, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. She is 450 by 636, so she's also very low, pretty hefty size. Regular colors. And I am stitching this 1/1 full cross. And she got a start of, I might have said this already, 516. It's out of 286,200 for 0.18%, and that is where we got off to. That's just all one color, maybe two. Probably two. It gets into the wings fairly quickly, but there was that initial black right there in the corner. Alright, next up is a piece by Carolyn Manning. This is Arctic Blast. This is a freebie on her website or her Facebook group. I can't remember which one for sure. Check out both. I do like her pieces. I would like to do more, but let's face it, I have enough as it is. So here is the cover sheet, photo, whatever mock-up you want to call it. I love the colors in this one. Pink unicorn and peacock. Those are a couple of the other ones that I keep floating around in my head, like, you know you want to start me. I am working this on 18 count Davis even weave in the color Putty. And I have a start of 442 stitches out of 36,481. I need a board. And that is at 1.21%. It was weird. It was not quite as intuitive as I thought it would be as far as like where a thread should go. It ended up just kind of all over the place. And did I say I'm stitching this 2/1 full cross? And then I did have a finish. This was a piece by Tiny Modernist called Autumn. That was a start and a finish, I think. I do not remember. I did that while I was on vacation. And I swapped out some of the colors, added eyeballs for the squirrels. So that was finish number 1. Next up is another new start, Autumn Blackwork Cat. This is a piece from Kitty Me Designs. This was part of a swag bag kind of freebie thing. And I am using some of my own flosses. Well, right now it's part of the called for. I'm working on the blackwork part of the cat's body. I'm stitching this on a scrap of, it looks like 28 count linen of some sort. And which way does this go? This way. That is where I'm at so far. I have put in 588 stitches. I don't hate black work. I still don't love it. It's still very backstitchy. But it's nice following the pattern without having other stitches in the way. Okay, how did I have this in here? It does not matter. Next up is Autumn Harmony. This is a Maxine Gadd Creations piece. It's further down. There she is. This is one that I do not, it looks like it's a max color piece. It's got 230 colors. Unfortunately, it does not have the size readily available of the piece. That's okay. I have to show you the mock-up. There she is in all her autumnal glory. She's so pretty. I am stitching this on 30 count, well, 32 count, even weave, 1/1 full cross. This year I have put in just 319 stitches, so you might or may not be able to see it very well, the difference between the before and afters. But she has a total of 6,299 stitches out of 499,800 for 1.26%. So again, I really don't know if you'll be able to see the difference, because when I know when I started working in the piece, they would go all kind of in here, so I'm sure it's going to be hard to see, but that's where she is. And I got the gravelly voice going on today. Next up is a new start, and this is Autumn Quakers from Rosewood Manor. Nope. I am using the called for threads on a similar fabric. It's a little bit brighter though. This is Golden Harvest. It's a 28 count linen from Atomic Ranch. And I put in 182 stitches for my start. there is not a charting error, but the arrow stitched in the cover photo is different color, and there is a correction on her website that acknowledges that and says just stitch whichever one you want. It's fine. It looks fine either way, and it really does. Excuse me. And that one's being stitched, the Valdani threads that it calls for, those are a three-strand floss, and you just use it as it comes off the ball. You don't separate them or anything. So it's 3/2 for this particular piece. Alright, next up is the BB 1699 sampler from the Sampler Company, Reproduction Cross Stitch. I picked this up as a freebie years ago now at the first retreat I went to, and it came as a kit. I'm stitching it on the kit stuffs. It's a 30 count dyed linen, and it uses DMC floss. I have put in 396 stitches this year. Oh, sorry, yeah, 396. And apparently I've got a typo in my spreadsheet that I made. That's okay. I'm not 100% sure how much was on here to start as far as what I had already stitched, but that is where I got to. I put in a lot of back stitching around these around the letters. I enjoy that one once I get into it. It's definitely a different style of sampler that I usually gravitate towards, but it is not. I don't regret picking it up for sure. Okay. Okay, these are going to be a little bit interesting to pull out because I gotta find. So sorry. Okay. It's the Cottage Garden Samplings Year in the Wood series. I'm just going to be showing these in alphabetical order to make it easier on my brain, so I will have to kind of dig through the fabrics as I go. This one is on something that's covered up. I'm using Brandy's conversion from the Stitch Me from the Woodland bundle that she dyed. I gotta remember which one's which, because all my tags are off now. I don't think it might be that one. Nope. Is it this one? Yep. So Dusty Cottage is her version of the Picture This Plus fabric that was called for. Okay. I am doing this on 28 count Lugana. Yeah, and that's going to be true for all of them. So 28 count Lugana, 2/2 full cross on all of these. This is my start on the beaver, which I admit is not a ton. It's only 193 stitches. So, but there they are. This is little toes coming in right here. There we go. I'm thinking I had a really great suggestion. I had several great suggestions because I only have one skein of each of the Weekside Works fabrics that are called for, and a lot of these on the 28 count 2/2 call for 2 skeins. I'm going to do the first leg in the DMC conversion and do the second leg on with the called for floss. I think of all the suggestions, that was the winner as far as I was concerned. That's going to stay out. Okay. Oh crap, I just realized I need a couple of books. Okay, this next piece is by Emma Congdon. She is also known as Stitchrovia on Etsy. This is from her Cross Stitch for the Soul book. And this one is Believe in Yourself. She doesn't really title these, I just call them by the first words that is part of the design. And this was a new start. I got 297 stitches in. I am stitching this on 14 count ivory Aida. 2/1 full cross. And that is where I'm at so far. I know I've had some trouble with some of hers getting the colors correct, and it's not her, it's me, and trying to work with color patterns with a black and white printout, and yeah. It's been interesting sometimes. Alright, the next one is also one of her patterns and also from the same book. This one is The Best Is Yet to Come. And I am stitching this one on a 28 count mushroom even weave. And I really like the contrast of the colors on this one. And that is where I'm at. This is one that I definitely had some color issues with. I had to frog where that pink is. I had to frog all of that except for this little motif, because I had read it as the yellow color. So, but I'm really loving how that is turning out, even with the color change. That was 113 stitches that I put in from the beginning of the year. Hopefully I found some room to put the before in. And I'm now at 950 total, so that one was not a new start this year. Let me grab a throat drop so that I hopefully stop coughing in your ears. Valara, why didn't you just wait until you're better to film? Because I'm always sick. I would just never film. Okay. I guess I shouldn't have put that away. And this is this one. Yeah. Same book again. I have all the sticky notes labeled on here. I just have to find them. The next one is The Best View. The best view comes after the hardest climb. This one I am stitching on 14 count white Aida. This one was a new start, and I got a lot in. 736 on this one. Almost done with that word. Not quite. Stitching that one too. Pretty much all of hers, if they're on 14 count or 16 or 18, whatever, it's going to be 2/1 full cross. I really enjoyed that one when I was working on it. I like her patterns a lot. I just can't read them for her. Okay. Alright, next up, sorry if I shake you whenever I mark stuff off, but I don't want to take the chance of missing something. Not after all the work I put into it. Alright, next up is an ink circles. This is called the Birds and the Bees. Right here. I am most definitely not stitching this with the called fors. I am stitching this on a purple fabric called Lilith from Die Stitch Love. It's a 28 count linen. Apparently I need to serge the edges. There's a couple patterns that I still need to take care of that on. I don't remember what's up. Yes, I do. Right there. And apparently, oh, look at this. I left myself some notes. So I'm stitching this with like a bunch of Brennan needle flosses. And there might even be some other, excuse me. Yeah, there's a Roxy floss thread in there. And I made myself notes on what I was stitching what in. And I have put in 293 stitches on this one. And did I say I'm stitching this 2 over 2 full cross? And I'm just kind of hoping that the colors work out. That is I will say that's one con of I have a crap ton of projects, obviously. And one of the reasons why I don't know. I don't know why the reason is. I can't stitch monogamously. I will put a project down for years if I stitch monogamously because I burn myself out on it. But one of the cons about having so many WIPs is that you have ideas that unless you take notes, you'll probably forget. And if you try something new, like a technique or something, you're not necessarily going to know if it works for a while. And you might start like a bunch of stuff with that technique, not quite knowing if it's going to work or not. So there are drawbacks besides the, some people have a little bit of anxiety at the amount of WIPs that I have going on. So that is okay. It is not stressful to me yet. So, right. Okay, next up is artwork by Rachel Anderson, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is Birth of a Star in max colors. She's 400 by 600. She only has 95 colors, even being a max color, because it's like half 939. I have put in, I've only put in 198 this year, but she is at 1,993 out of 240,000 for 0.83%. Excuse me. I have a small start in the corner here, and then, and I don't, yeah, it was her body that I worked in. Don't know if you'll be able to see where I added stitches, but mostly in her hand. I was sort of trying to fill in her hand there. Hopefully you can see a little bit of difference in that, even though it's only 200 stitches. I really like this one. I'm stitching her on 28 count casual linen, 1/1 full cross. It is an antique white. Next up is a piece that I am putting together as a supersize piece, but it is all charted separately. They are Birth Month flowers from Luthien Art Shop. I'm putting all 12 out on one piece, if that wasn't obvious from what I just said. And I've been working on January. Oops. There you go. I'm just in the border at the moment. I am getting close to the edge of that border, though, across the top. I have put in 633 stitches this year. I am now at 1,710 out of the total piece together is 315,282, and that it puts it at 0.05%. It is being worked on 32 count Ada. No, not Ada, even weave. 1/1 full cross. And hopefully, there we go. Hopefully you can see the before shot here. Just kind of ran out my thread there with the border and started filling in where I could. So there is that. All right, next up is a new start. This one is Black Unicorn, artwork by Ann Stokes. I have to double check and make sure it was actually charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, or if it was Pain-Free. It was Pain-Free Crafts. Excuse me, they're both licensed to chart Ann's artwork. This is 360 by 435. There you go. Really, really pretty colors for the background. Kind of those galaxy colors that I love so much. This got a start of 250 stitches. And that is out of 156,600. So it's not super huge. It's big, but you know, like half of mine are big, more than half. So we're at 0.16%, and that is it. That is my start. Still pretty. I do apologize for all the coughing. Okay. Next up is another new start. This is out of Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine called Blackwork Iris. I am stitching this on a 25 count new khaki Lugana. And it has a mixture. I guess I should actually show you the piece, huh? It has a mixture of cross stitch, specialty stitches, and the actual blackwork. And I started in the leaves of the iris because I am chicken. So there is the start for that. I got 337 stitches in on this one. I can't, when I do that, I cannot see. I can't zoom in far because I can't see what you're seeing. There we go. I think I'm stitching this one 3/2 full cross. I'm doing it however it calls for in the pattern. Super fancy project bags. next up is another one that I've charted myself. This one I actually charted on pixelstitch.net. This is, excuse me. This is a friend of ours, pup that passed a couple years ago now. He was called Budro. Made him big. He's a big guy. Like, it's a big piece. I have put in on him 1,267 stitches so far this year. I'm going to go ahead and pop the before in because it's not going to fit very well. I have worked on him, I just said that, 1,267. He has a total of 34,575 stitches out of 333,000. And here is where, there's the whole thing. Maybe I'll go ahead and slide that. I'll slide that before shot here because I think I only took a partial anyways. He's at 10.38%. And yeah, just working in on getting these parked threads worked in, and then I'll sort of start working him in cross country. I am doing this on a 28 count even weave, 2/1 tent stitch, or half cross, however you want to call it. I'm hoping to get a lot more work in him. Yeah. Okay. I'm missing a piece. Nope, there it is. All sorts of wrong spot. Okay, next up is a piece called Butterfly Sampler. That might be what I call it. I can't remember if this one actually got named or not in the store. I got this off of Etsy. Yes. SS031 Sampler Butterfly. This is from Happy Mood Point, now known as Daily Pattern Post. And that is their monochrome mock-up. Or another mock-up cover picture. Might be just a digital mock-up, I'm not sure. I had already started this. I've put in 629 stitches, and I now have 1,056 out of 17,086. It is at 6.18%, and I'm stitching this in a variety of flosses, not monochrome. I'm stitching this on 14 count Aida. It is like a cream colored Aida. It's awkward. Here we go. I still have yet to frog this, the bottom of the butterfly, but I definitely don't like how light the wings ended up like that. I'll probably just go ahead and stitch it in this purple color. But I really like how these have turned out. And it was just the butterfly to start with at the beginning of the year. I don't even know if I'm I took a screenshot. I don't think I'm gonna bother putting it in because it was literally just this butterfly. And it was a terrible, terrible screenshot. So there's that. Okay. No, that was in the right spot. I keep forgetting that I'm not showing you every single piece that I have right now. Okay, next up was another finish. This was a piece out of Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine. It was a little candy cane ornament. Super cute. It was a start and finish in one day. It was 290 stitches plus the back stitching. So super quick, super tiny. I have no idea how I'm going to finish any of my ornaments. I'm definitely not known for finishing, like fully finishing my pieces. And next up is, I gotta sort through these pieces. We're coming up on some gnomes. So this is Candy Cane Gnome. The very last one. Whee. This is a set of gnome ornaments off of 4-Stitch Love on Etsy. 4stitch.com, I think, is what their, yeah, 4stitch.com is their website. Etsy is 4-Stitch Love. That is the finished, dope. That is what the finished piece will look like. I have added, he was new start, so he's got 319 stitches so far out of 202,427, not including the back stitch. He's at 13.14%. And I have just stitched the weight. I think there's more to go, but that's what I have so far. I think it's a set of 10, and I want to get all of them done. Uh-oh, where did I hide it? Wow, am I really skipping all of these? Sure am. C's have not been very popular for getting landed on for Monopoly. Apparently, I'm skipping a ton. Here we go. All right, I don't have a cover photo for this because it's it's this year's stitch along, mystery stitch along for Cross Stitch Studio, but it's their Celestial Fantasy Salve. I'll see if I can find like a full thing of like the releases so far. I had to really think about that. I'm stitching this on the 32 count. I did have this started though. I've put in 664 stitches and I'm now at 1,088. This did not get very far as the sal goes. It's not that I don't like the photo, like the mock-up so far, but it's not something that I'm like pushing to get done. It's not my favorite. It's not the worst, but it's not my favorite. It's a little less fantasy for me, a little more like person stitching. So, which I have normally no issues doing, but it's not necessarily what I was expecting. Based on the sort of examples that she gave for what to expect. So 1,088 out of 4,000. Now the 4,000 is just that first page, part 1, that was released. So it's at 27.20% because their pages aren't super huge, which is nice. I'm stitching this, did I say that? 32 count even weave, 1/1 tent stitch. This was my sort of experiment for the 1/1 tent stitch look. It's not my favorite coverage, to be honest. So I will definitely, on this particular count of fabric, I will definitely stick with the 1/1 full cross, because I think 2/1 would be way too bulky for sure. Okay. Okay, next up is Celestial Gathering. This is a China kit. It is not stamped, but it is this piece. I've had it for ages. I don't know how many stitches it had in. It was not a new start. I added 333 stitches to it. Yeah, this way. Because I'm starting in the middle, going out for the page. Most of this was stitched already, and then I added like the edges and this one here. There's a before photo for you, so you can see exactly what I've added. So I really like the colors in it, that's for sure. And it is with that like rayon floss nightmare stuff. I'm using all the kit stuff that they provided. I think it's a 14 count. Yeah, 14 count. Navy Ada. Okay. Next up is Celtic Autumn. I don't really have a cover photo because I'm doing a color conversion. And I basically dumped all the photos out of my phone, so I'll have to see if I can find it somewhere, but you'll get the picture. You'll get the idea. So here's this. I'm stitching this on a Die Stitch Love. I keep looking over here because my info for this is kind of buried under my board. I forgot to grab it. Nope. Oh, the magnets are stuck now. Hold on, technical difficulties. Ouch. I don't know. I don't know where my stuff is. I don't know where anything is. Anywho. Yeah, I don't remember what this is being stitched on. I don't see... Where's my stuff for her? Oh, there it is. I prepped as best as I could for this, guys. I really did. There it is, Persephone. This is from Die Stitch Love. This is a 28 count casual linen. And I'm using, I'm stitching this 2/2 full cross. And that is where I'm at so far with her. So she ends just down there. And I've got these threads pretty much ended because of the scroll rods. So I'll tuck those in once I actually scroll this up, which I'm pretty close to. I will probably finish this motif, maybe this motif, and then I'll scroll it up. So there she is in all her glory. I've put 559 stitches in her for this year. Most of this work was last year. So all this kind of in here has gotten worked in. Hopefully I figured out how to get a before shot in there. Oh, the struggle's real, guys. Okay, and then Celtic Winter also got a start. This has a major overhaul. I'm blending a couple of different conversions together. This is on another piece by Die Stitch Love called Silent Night. This is also a 28 count, but this is a Lugana. I'm also stitching this one over 2/2 full cross. And here, let me show you. So that's the cover photo, but I'm stitching a color conversion, and I'm stitching, she's going to have a cape because you get cold in winter, so you're going to wear a cape. I had to kind of hand chart and do some craziness with that when I put it together, so let me make sure this is up. So I started in the cape on the back. And yeah, it doesn't look like much of anything, but this is going to be one of those ones that's going to, as she comes in, it's going to be more and more evident what it looks like. But 623 stitches is what I've added this year. And that was a new start. This is super, super sparkly fabric. Holy cow. Okay. All right, next up is Country Cottage. This was a new start. I've had this kit for a long time. Never had started it, so this is Country. I'm calling it Country Cottage. And I'm using the stuff that came in the kit, which is a 14 count Ada, 2/1 full cross. And I did measure out and count to start in the upper left-hand corner. And it has 582 stitches. This is half cross so far. So there is kind of a I want to say blend. That's not right. You know what I mean. Kind of like a dimensional look with the stitches. Some's full cross, some's half cross. So that's where I got to. I may try to get this into Pattern Keeper now that I know how to do multi-page with the camera function and screenshots and stuff. So I'm gonna have to do that next time it comes out. Because that's definitely kind of a beast to work on, because it's that shiny paper. It's shiny paper. Well, it's not super shiny, not as bad as some of them, but it is color, so it's kind of hard to mark off and read for me personally. All right, next one up is Cradle the Moon. Oops, where's my... I was using a thing. Using an acrylic ruler to keep my space in my bin. And I left it in the thing and shoved it in the cubby. I'm surprised it didn't break. Next up is Cradle the Moon. This is a piece by Braven Phelan on Heaven and Earth Designs. I believe she's known as Michelle Lee Phelan there. This is a companion piece to one of my other ones. He's a lot higher up than I thought. There he is. This is 450 by 636. It is a regular size, regular color. Gorgeous. I love her artwork. Love, 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 love her artwork. I only have 403 stitches so far. 603. I think I have a typo in my other spreadsheet. Yeah, I have a typo in my spreadsheet. I'll have to go back and fix that. So 603 stitches out of 286,200 for 0.21%. And I just started in the upper left-hand corner in that 939. So a lot of stuff kind of happening already. It's just a lot of dark as well. So there's that one. All right, next up is another new start. I don't have a cover photo for this one either because it was a Stitch Your Own Adventure kind of type thing. It was one of the Dirt Queens from Autumn Lane Stitchery. I decided to stitch mine on, I did get the called for, one of the called for fabrics, but I really didn't care for it once it came in. And my friend Nana was stitching it on a similar dark fabric, and I love how hers looks, so I decided to semi-copy, and I am stitching this on 32 count Lugana. It is still by Under the Seas Fabrics, and it is the color Nyx. And that is where I'm at so far. Excuse me. She has 599 stitches out of 8,211 of the first part complete. This will not get filled in until I decide to order the silk lame for it. So, although did I think I might have, I ordered a bunch of, did I order that? I don't remember. I might have ordered it already, and I'm just waiting for back order stuff to come with it so that I can finish stitching it. It's fine. It can be blank for a while. It's fine. Not like this is gonna get finished any day soon, right? Oops. I left out my thing for my fabric. Okay. Next up is Darling Dragonling. This is a mini from Heaven and Earth Designs. This was a very recent new start, so I'm sure you guys, if you've been watching, will recognize it. She is 258 by 321, so very small. Jasmine Beckett Griffith is the artist. I love those colors. She is being stitched on probably a 32 count. No, 28 count. 28 count, 1/1 full cross. And I got 165 stitches in. Woohoo! So 165 out of 82,818 for 0.20%. That's it. That's all the further I got. Ta-da. I told you, some of these new starts are very, very, very tiny. I'll have to excuse my dog snoring apparently now. This one upcoming, this one next is one of my favorites. This is I feel like I remember its name incorrectly when I say it, so let me double check. It's another piece by Raven Phelan on Heaven and Earth Designs. Where it at? There it is. Mini Divine Transformation. This is 229 by 325. Another kind of dark piece. Very, very pretty. This was a new start this year. I have put in 924 stitches out of 74,425 for 1.24%. I am stitching this on that 32 count even weave. That's how big it is. It's tiny. And that is where I'm at with it so far. That bag does not like to close. Okay. Next up is my focus piece for the year. One of them, but the main one really. This is artwork by Ann Stokes. This was originally charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Pain Free Crafts now has the, I think it's Pain Free Crafts is now charting it. Too far. This is Dragons of the Sabbat. It is 755 by 800, so it is very, very close to super size. It is not max color though. Right now I'm just working on getting all the black stitched. I have all of the inside where the sigils are. I have all of the outside, and I am about almost halfway with the black around the dragons now. Almost. I may have to back you up so that I can get this whole thing in. Let me turn that off. And, oh no. Hang on, let me stand on my chair. There we go. Is it in? There is over 260,000 stitches of 310 in this. Come back, get that back on. Now it's washing stuff out. There we go. Off was too dark, on is almost too bright. I wonder how many people have left because I can't speak without coughing. So I have 210,678 stitches in this thing so far. There's a total of 604,000. Yes, 604,000 minus 2 stitches. 34.88% is where I'm at so far. This is where I have been working for the most part this year. So yeah, just need to get the rest of those in. I don't have a goal specific to getting this black all done by the end of the year. That's not happening. But I just have a goal of getting all that black done, and then I will set a new goal for the wheel part. I don't know what to call it. That is being stitched on 28 count even weave 1/1 full cross. Whew. I have 40,884 stitches of 310 left. Okay. Okay, next up is a new start. This is Eden Serpent by Olga Lankovic. Eden Serpent. I got this off of Etsy. I love this piece. I stitched a total of 437 out of 12,961 plus backstitch for 3.37%. And that is where I'm at. This is the head of the snake. And this does have blends in it. I do have it in Pattern Keeper, and it seems to be reading the blends okay. So, yeah, there we go. I feel like I'm kind of blowing through these, but I talk enough. I feel like I talk enough about them on my updates that I don't have to go into too much detail. And you know, we don't want to take 100,000 years to do this, right? Next up was one of my finishes. This is from Maximum Cross Stitch. I got this at Stitch North a couple years ago. Well, 2023, right here. It says right here on the thing. Hey? Did this one while I was on vacation. It had 1,409 stitches in it. And I did they included the Roxy Floss red that came with it. That was a good travel stitch to do because it was just that one color and easy to read. Okay. Next up is another Emma Congdon piece. This is again out of Cross Stitch for the Soul. I have most of these marked to do. Every day may not be good, but there is some good in every day. Words to live by. And we started this on, I think that's a 14 count. And I got a 14 count white Aida, and I got 123 stitches in. So not a ton. Not a ton at all. Pretty sure this is up. I just started in the middle. So not a ton to say about that one because there's not much in it to talk about. Looks like that's when I need to get into Pattern Keeper eventually. All right, next up is one of my next focus pieces, or one of my focus pieces, along with dragons. She's going to get worked on every week, is the goal. And this is a piece by Total Cross Stitch on Etsy. Called Face of a Mermaid. She was Mermaid Monday Sal for a while, but that kind of, as things do, she kind of fell off the wagon with keeping up on that. But she's beautiful. She is 250 by 350, so she's not big. She actually mostly fits in this hoop. I have a little bit on the bottom that does not fit. See if I can get that before shot in there. I have not worked on her a ton this year. She's got 999 stitches in. And so she is now at 18,353 out of 87,500. She's at 20.97%. She has a total of just over 69,000 stitches to go. Again, don't have a goal of getting her done by the end of the year, but she has a goal of being a focus and being worked on every week until she's done. So I love how it's confetti crazy, but the details for the size piece are amazing. She did a really good job on this one. Okay. Okay, next up is is Fairy Home. This is by Golden Kite. It is a tiny piece that I picked up when I got the Home in the Mountains. I got it, that is part of, like, if you bought so many, you got them half off or whatever. I don't know what I was thinking for a piece this size, because it is tiny. It's I don't see where, I don't know, you can see it's tiny, right? I got the piece with the blends. It's so ridiculous. I got the blends in it to hopefully help with, you know, because it is so small. But it's like 80 blends. So I've got my, I don't have it kitted up, but I've got my droppies ready. And apparently I decided to pull the 500 that I needed because I don't want it to run out and have to change die lots, because it's so small it will be very, very noticeable. So I think that's what my thinking was on that. 80 blends. on that tiny, tiny piece. Oh, I haven't even showed you yet, have I? I did get all of 207 stitches in. This is not even like, I'm pretty sure that's, oh no, how did I start this? That's weird. Okay, so I found, oh god. Okay, so this is as big as it is, right? That's not even, I didn't have to use this whole piece. That's how big it is. 80 blends. And I started with 500 in that bottom right hand corner. I think I did that on purpose so I didn't have to mess with blends yet. Cheater. Someday I'll actually start the Rivendell one. Someday. Maybe once this one is done, and although I think I do have enough blended. I sent my ex-husband like 3 rolls of filament for his 3D printer, and asked him to make me drops. And he was kind enough to comply. All right, next up is the ferret. This is one of the cottage garden samplings here in the woods, and this is being stitched on whatever the velt is from Bestitch Me. This way. Okay. And I have put in, did I tell you Fairy Home? I put 207 stitches in out of 15,240. It's at 1.36%. This is my start on the ferret. That's his arm right there. He's got another one coming down here. And I put 526 stitches in on him. All in that same brown color. Goodness. It's really pretty green. Again, that's that 28 count Lugana from Bestitch Me's Woodland Bundle. So many! I was really hoping to get this done in one video, but we just hit the halfway mark, just over the halfway mark. Yeah, we might be able to hit that close to 2 hours. Again, I have to be careful of storage space, so. Okay. That says it's a finish. I did have 6 finishes. Did I? Yes, I did. So, Flag Gnome is one of the same gnome series that I finished. Backstitch and all. I don't remember how much I did, and I don't think I grabbed a screenshot because because I didn't show any of these on my WIP parade. Duh. So he was not a start. He was definitely a WIP, but I don't know where he was. So yeah, I like how he turned out. I'm not a fan of the back stitching. There's a lot of split stitches on Ada. Not a huge fan of that. So just be mindful of that if you want to go pick up her gnome series. Okay. Whee! Okay, next up is a Dimensions kit. This is Floral Flamingo. That background is all stitched. And that is what I'm starting on, or what I started on. This was a new start, was it? Yes, I have a total of 1,116 stitches. I am using, oh, this needs serge too. I am using the called for everything. What is this? 18, 14? 14 count white Ada. And I did get a start apparently on his little face, because I probably got a little bored of the background, because it is half cross. So it goes fast, but it's somewhat tedious. My dog's snoring away. I really need to make the effort to get the serger out when I run across those when I'm stitching them. Okay, next up. Another one that I charted that I'm sort of test stitching because it looked fine in my stitching program and looked kind of crazy in Pattern Keeper, so we're going to see which one's right or if it's a blend of the both. I call her Flossie because that is the gal who prompted the image, called it. I really like the picture. And that's the mock-up from my program. But I'm not sure it's gonna turn out that nice. So I have added 1,019 stitches to her so far this year, which brings her to a total of 6,637 out of 458,110. She's pretty big. She fits in the hoop, and I've got it pinned down so that it's out of my way when I'm stitching, but that's where she is. And you can see these transitions. Now, to be fair, I'm using multiple brands of floss, so this could just be a lesson in don't blend your flosses. Your brands of flosses. Get your projects up. Let me be your life lesson for that. So I don't know if this is gonna look okay as I get more stitched in. We will see. Kind of doubting it though. Just pretty. It's a bummer. But maybe what I'll do is I'll grab some of the DMCs that go in here and then do another test stitch just in this section to see if it's a brand of floss thing or if it's a software thing. Excuse me. So anyways, that's where I'm at with that. She's at 1.45%. I don't consider it a waste of time because it's something that I would consider offering once I've tested it, but I don't want to put crap quality out there either. Okay, next up, new start. Surprise. Not. This is a piece from, I cannot remember, so I'm going to have to find it. Two by two stitch art. Here's the mock-up. This is on Etsy. Flower Galaxy 1 is the title for this one. I'm stitching it on this like really pretty red fabric from Fiber on a Whim called Lipstick. I got started it at 210 stitches, and that is out of 6,225. So it's a very small piece. And apparently I figured out where the top is, and that's where I'm going to start stitching from, top down. So it's at 3.30% so far, with just that tiny amount of stitching. Because it's really not going to take that long to stitch up. Maybe that's one I should consider putting into my non-full coverage rotation for focuses once I have a spot open. Okay, next up is another Cottage Garden Samplings. This one's the Fox. And I started and got 232 stitches in on him. And that's just, I started at the chest and just did, was that 38.65 for now? So not a ton. Doesn't look like anything yet, but that's his chest. Alright, and then the next one is a piece that I got in Japan while I was in Japan. This is called Fuji from the Goten from Gotenyama at Shinagawa on the Tokaido, which the Tokaido is the river. From Olympus is the brand of floss that's used in this. It's a 9-count fabric. So, again, I might try to get this into Pattern Keeper now that I know how to use the camera function. That's kind of exciting because this one was hard to. It's all on this big piece, and it was really hard to. It was really hard to manage that. And I got 405 stitches in total. See if I can figure out this way. Yes, 405 stitches, and that's where I got. It uses, is it 4 strands of floss? It's 6 strands. It uses all 6 strands, I think. I have to translate the page on my phone when I go to stitch this. I should probably make notes. Yeah, I'll have to make notes because now I don't remember what I don't remember what I used. But that's at 9 count. It's not super big for 9 count. It really isn't. It's not going to be too bad. I really like working on that one just because it brings up all the memories of when we went down there. Down there? Over there. Japan is not down, it's over. Okay. Next up is called Genevieve. This is from the sewing shop. And she uses a royalty-free image for this. There she is with her glorious top hat or bonnet. Not a top hat. Kind of looks like it, but anywho's. I have added 550. There are now 9,958 stitches in this piece out of 289,091 for 3.44%. Most of it is 310 that I have stitched in this, in that upper left-hand corner. So I don't even know. I think it just brought down the 310. You'll be able to see there from the before shot, hopefully, if I just brought it down there. So there's a lot of confetti stitches, part threads to work in later, but that is where we're at so far with that one. Okay, so sorry for the sort of abrupt cutoff. This is editing Alera. I was not planning on filming an outro in the middle of the video, and I'm gonna have to film an intro for the second part. If you're in my Facebook group, I'm sure you've seen my rant about I'm having some technical difficulties with the software that I use. I've edited and uploaded pretty 3-hour-long videos before. It is not happening this time. So here we are at the end of part 1. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in part 2. Take care. See you then.